Yo, Riker here. I'm just gonna make a quick video regarding the recently released Rabam skills that we got this week on Wednesday. And I'm also going to talk a little bit about the current skill bit that I have, and it's pretty much the finished product that you should use as a Guardian in the endgame. Using almost 2000 skill points. I don't have all the skills that you might need. There are some skills that I specifically don't use. For example, one skill that you might actually use. Let's see, which one was it? Yeah, the frenzy. There's one skill that I'm not keen on using, though it might be a good CC skill because it's a protected super armor and it's a bound on first hit. You should consider using this skill if you feel like, though be mindful that bound is very short CC. Alright, let's go straight into the Rabam skills. So first of all, we have a frontal guard pulverization. This one I tried a little bit. One good thing about this skill is that it can be changed straight into Black Blood Slaughter. And pulverization is basically mutilation. It just has forward guard and no CC. So the CC that you can actually utilize is from the float absolute Black Blood Slaughter that has a knockdown. The only problem, the actual turning of both skills with the camera is not as smooth, and the skills are pretty much slow. They take 2 to 3 seconds to completely to be complete. And the area of CC for the Black Blood Slaughter isn't as great. That's why I'm using pretty much the super armor. And it's not as useful skill as other Rabams on other classes, but for me it's basically just a down attack buff for 5% for 10 seconds. That's the main thing. The damage isn't as great. I'll showcase the area of effect. And the damage is basically same as on Mountain Slam. It's just basically that skill, only 360 with a small radius. You could also compare it to the Black Circle, though this skill I think in my opinion is better because it's first of all heal, has a bigger range, and deals pretty much same or greater damage. Yeah, it's pretty much almost same, a little bit maybe bigger because it's one more hit. Okay, speaking of, let's continue with the other Rabam skill, which is actually pretty useful. It's called Omoa Circle, is the one I picked. The other one is, you shouldn't use it at all, it's just not as great. Like, I don't see any utilization for this skill. Yeah, don't use it. Now, Omoa Circle, it's a plus 20 DP buff. That's the best one we've had. The only other DP buff is Black Blood's Descent. That's only 15 for 10 seconds. This one gives you 20 for 10 seconds. Also 400 HP heal. Now the best thing about this skill is that it's the fastest way to change from a vacant to pre-vacant and to follow up with Avalanche Strike for a knockdown. So we thought of making another combos with this skill, but after testing that for quite some amount of time, we found out that it's way more effort and you will get pretty much same result. So what you can do, technically, if you do the classic choke slam into cleansing flame from hotbar, you can then change with Omoa Circle into mountain slam, sorry, not mountain slam, avalanche strike, for another knockdown, and then follow up maybe with Frost Slide into Searing Fang. Let me showcase the first part. To grab Cleansing Flame, Rabam into Avalanche Strike. So that's like the main utilization that maybe you can use in combos and try to make your own ideas of how to execute it. We've been thinking only for a few days of how to utilize it, so please, if you think of something, let me know. I would most likely try that with you. One thing I found out, if you do the faster grab, which is only bound, it's the headbutt. If you're not slowed, you maybe have enough time to get for a knockdown and then get maybe a bound from the Searing Fang. And then maybe if you're extremely lucky, like the CC waves on Guardian are kinda meh and are not as perfect always, you can maybe get a bound from Suppress as well into a very long combo. Let me showcase that here real quick. So that was a choke slam into headbutt. You press R and B to make the headbutt. It's a faster, it's only a bound. Into hotbar cleansing flame, into the Rabam, into shift LMB, which is avalanche strike pre-awakened. Then sidestep frost slide into claw reveal. Into sorry, not claw reveal. Searing Fang into suppress. Now this is my final build that I will be using from now on. I will post the BDO calculator there in the description, as well as on my stream I will update that as a final goal that you should be using. In Awakening I'm still not using the F, which is pretty much a useless skill. Also Inferno Steps, which could be used in PvE as a finisher, but then you should always lock it for PvP because it can mess things up as this does. If you lack skill points, you can lower this down maybe to 1 or don't use it at all, because this skill is pretty much only useful as a finisher in PvE maybe. Over the time I thought this would be useful, but it's not really. Other than that, I'm still using all the skills. Only thing I've leveled is the strike down that I've locked, so I can unlock the Rabams. One thing that I would like to point out at the end is an issue with Blade Plus Descent. I use that skill a lot for mobility. It's a great skill. It gives you also movement speed and DP buff. Since Oumuamua Circle has 20 seconds cooldown, so you wanna use Blade Blast Descent as often as possible for the DP buff, and this one's on cooldown. The main issue is at the very end, the super armor ends earlier than the actual skill. Even though this skill got buffed by increased attack speed, the jump is way faster. But the issue is if you're PvPing and you're jumping, let's say near a Tamer or a Berserker pre-awakened ult, at the end of the skill you would 100% get CC'd, it just ends too early, and if you're slow it's even more deadlier. One thing I'm considering completely locking that skill or trying not to utilize, and only move with Fierce Disdain into Oumuamua Subjugation, which is a way safer way because it's 100% super armor without any issues. One thing I've seen that when I've been not running exit lag or having worse ping, I've done Black Blood Descent into Oumuamua Subjugation, and I got CC'd at the very start of this skill many times. Even though this went off and I already seen the animation, I still got CC'd because of the delay between the client and the server. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Otherwise, I'm still using all the skills that you've probably seen in the beginning guide video. One thing that I should maybe point out at the end, when we are getting actual BSR skills, Cleansing Flame will be the 50% Black Spirit Rite skill. It's going to have a slightly longer animation, but it will have additional 1 hit and a float. So technically, if we float somebody, let's say with Cleansing Flame, And then we would like to get a longer CC. The best thing to do would then be go to for Omua's Circle and the knockdown from Avalanche Strike. So I think then this skill will really shine if you actually CC somebody with that. It's going to be really hard, but for 1v1 purposes, I think it's going to be amazing. So you would CC them with Float. Then you would swap to Pre-Awakening, CC them with Knockdown, and then you could continue maybe into Fireborn or swap with Frostslide. Either one works. And then classically follow with Searing Fang into Suppress, or if you have Black Spirit Rage, into God Incinerator 25%, which is gonna be really devastating. Yeah, and that's everything from me. Thank you all for watching. Peace out.